Колеги, доброго ранку. Розпочинаємо робочий день і до слова запрошується речник.
Good morning, dear colleagues. We are starting our working day, and a spokesperson of the Ministry of Defense, Colonel Viktoria, will speak, and then Colonel Leonid Matukhin, the spokesperson for the anti-terrorist operation. Good morning, dear President. I'm glad to see you here. Yesterday, on the 7th of May, the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Lieutenant General Stepan Poltorak, met a congressman of the U.S., head of the Committee of the House of Representatives of U.S. on Energy and Commerce, Fred Hampton. The Minister of Defense of Ukraine thanked for the material support, and he also mentioned that the political support from the U.S. is no less important. At the moment, the help in kind from the USA provided to the Ukrainian army amounts to almost $25 million. They talked about the events in Ukraine, in the east of Ukraine, and prospects of the further cooperation with the U.S. This week, the Deputy Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Petro Mehmed, met a U.S. Congress head of the subcommittee on new threats of the Committee on Armed Forces, Joe Wilson. The mobilization of military personnel who have served their due term is going on in Ukraine. According to a decree of the President of Ukraine, the terms of call-up and dismissal from duty have been continued from May to June 2015. The work of the Ministry of Defense continues in providing residences and dwellings for the military. And one of these days in Kryvyi Rih, 50 flats were given to military personnel of armed forces, including participants in the anti-terrorist operation. The repair units of the anti-terrorist operation are restoring military technology and weaponry that sustained combat damage or went out of order. The repair units that are working in the vicinity of Artemivsk are working around the clock to restore military vehicles and weaponry. They repair and provide for the maintenance of vehicles and armored vehicles, and over the last month the repair units have brought back to order dozens of different military vehicles. They are provided with everything necessary to perform their tasks. Military repairmen from Rivne region also continue to provide artillery units of the armed forces of Ukraine with the restored weaponry and vehicles. Since the start of the year, the military repairmen from Rivne region have sent to the army over 100 units of repaired armaments and vehicles. Also, the unit of military repairmen is accompanying military convoys and takes part in providing maintenance for the arms and military machinery in the anti-terrorist operation zone. The experts of the information and psychological support are working on the frontline positions of the anti-terrorist operation in military units that are performing their combat duty next to Artemivsk. The experts are working, including military chaplains who are included into the group of officer psychologists. Also, the military psychologists are bringing to the frontline units fresh press and books. to commemorate the memory of the heroes of the Second World War and the contribution of the Ukrainian people into the victory over Nazism. A patriotic car ride is taking place in the zone of anti-terrorist operation with the route Kyiv, Sloviansk, Krasnoarmeysk, Zelene Pole, Volnovakha, Mariupol. Tomorrow, within the events to mark the 70th anniversary of the victory over Nazism in Europe, a march of military orchestras of Ukraine will take place in Kyiv. The event is being the following orchestras will take part: the Orchestra of the Defense Forces of Estonia, the Orchestra of Armed Forces of Jordan, the Orchestra of the Border Guards of Poland, the Orchestra of the Armed Forces of Lithuanian Republic, the Military Orchestra of the Armed Forces of Republic of Serbia, and also Ukrainian orchestras, including the Orchestra of the Guards of Honor of the Regiment of the President of Ukraine. Also, the square in front of the Museum of the Great Patriotic War will see the ceremonious ritual of taking an oath of allegiance to the Ukrainian people by the soldiers who were called up in the spring of 2015, and the Commander-in-Chief Superior will be there. And now I give the word to Lieutenant Colonel Leonid Matukhin, who will talk to you about the situation in the anti-terrorist operation zone. So what is the situation? Starting from 6 p.m. on the 7th of May, the bandits were shelling the positions of Ukrainian military. Again, they were actively using heavy armaments in spite of the Minsk agreements. In the Donetsk sector, the illegal armed formations have shelled from mortars of banned calibers the positions of Ukrainian military next to settlements Pisky, Granitne, Opitne, Avdiivka. Also, our positions were shelled from automated grenade launcher and from small firearms in the vicinity of Opitno and Dutovka mine. In Mariupol sector, the point of confrontation is still the settlement Shirokina. Here, the enemy is using 122mm artillery and mortars of 82mm caliber. They also used these arms, this weaponry, while shelling and firing at our positions next to Bogoslavsky, Novgorodsky, Krasny Pakhar, Shiroka Balka, and in Leninsk they were shelling our position from a tank. Enemy snipers are working in the vicinity of Stanitsa, Luhansk, and Shastia. Besides, the mercenaries continue to use air drones, and the Ukrainian units have detected 22 drones in the vicinity of Zholobok, Kremsky, Mariupol, Shirokino, Mikhailuki, Teplano, Bakhmutivka, Verkhnyotoretska, and some other places. Military engineers working on the liberated territories of Donetsk and Luhansk regions, and they continue to demine the fields and roads. They also demine some explosives in settlements. No questions, thank you very much. Our next briefing is at 11:30, and we'll see and we'll talk to the spokesperson of the Ministry of Defense,